Back in Book 1 of Sailing Adrift, we completely refit our 1972 vintage sailboat in our driveway. And then we splashed it into the Columbia River. And guess what? It floats. So now we're gonna move aboard and live our lives on the water. Last week on Sailing Adrift, we cut loose on our virgin voyage with Drifter.
We're in the middle of the Columbia River on the first voyage of Drifter.
Yep, Drifter proved to be quite the little badass. We had an amazing motor down the Columbia while testing and inspecting our systems. Once we got back, we went straight to work with an oil change.
Give the engine the old reach around, Chris.
Yeah, it's still hot.
Good morning, sunshine.
There you go.
I'm going to use this to make pancakes.
Cool.
And then he did. Chris made us some delicious pancakes, along with every other breakfast food, in the world's tiniest kitchen that we literally built ourselves. It feels really cool to be able to say that. I think we can all agree that a hearty breakfast is the right way to start the day, especially when there's bacon. Now for a day of normal people things, like laundry. Oh, wait.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, I kinda forgot about that. With our washing machine still on the fritz, best to do laundry in the marina for now. Laundry in the marina has its benefits. Yes, it costs $2 to wash and $2 to dry, but they're commercial-sized units, so there's a lot of bang in those bucks. And there's something very desirable about snuggling up with a fresh load of warm laundry during a cold spell. Chris has been working hard on fixing that plumbing issue. Today's the day we give it a whirl.
Kelly, should we give this thing a go?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Let's put some clothes in this washing machine and see if it'll wash clothes. How about that idea? You want to come do the honors? Okay, Kelly. Since I set up the washer and dryer, I'm now going to teach you how to use it because it's not so simple as pushing go.
It's not?
No, it's
Why
not.
wouldn't it be?
Because it's on a boat.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing you have to do is turn on the inverter. Do you know how to do that?
This button here?
This button right there. That's right. Go ahead, turn on the inverter. You'll know that it's done when the middle thing goes green. That actually is a remote control for the actual inverter that lives down there and is now glowing behind that dustpan. All right, then you got to turn on the breaker for the washer and dryer.
And it is labeled washer dryer.
Yeah, it's an AC breaker. Oh.
Wow.
Did you hear the pump?
I did.
Now we go down here and we hear the triumphant music of the washing machine turn on. Now the next step is very important. Before you do any of this, you have to ensure that the through hole is opened. This is where we messed up before and created the lake. All right, so is it on or is it open?
I can't tell.
You should be able to tell.
I like see the valve, but is that closed or is that open?
When it goes with the pipe, it is open. When it goes against the pipe, like that means it's closed.
Okay.
We want it to be open so that it drains.
Okay. Well, it is open.
Yep.
Yep.
I knew it was, but that's important to check.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Next step. Load the washer.
This is a twin-size comforter for reference. And 2 pillowcases.
That's a full load. Okay, now you want to put your soap in.
Okay.
The rest is just, use the washing machine. I know you know how to do this.
Do I?
I think so. That thing's a little funky. You got to push down on it pretty hard to get that open. If you push down, or do it that way. Treat it like a bag of chips.
Yep.
Don't eat it though. These aren't Tide Pods, or are they? Ho ho!
Okay.
Which one's for soap? I would guess this big one, but I'm not sure. Didn't we have to look this up before?
We did.
Please hold while we consult the manual.
Up here in your dispenser drawer, this is slot number 1. This is where your liquid or powder detergent would go. This is slot number 2. This is where your fabric softeners, things like that would go. And then this is where your bleach would go.
That gentleman was super helpful.
Yes, he was.
Where does it go, Kelly?
Right here.
Yes.
Done. Next, why does it say 39?
It wants to wash it that long because of these dials.
Okay.
I want to just do it regular.
Okay.
I don't want it to dry it afterwards.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. Please hold while we consult the manual.
The beauty of these machines is that they can both wash and dry. But the dry cycles on these units are energy hogs and not super efficient. Our solution was to air dry all the laundry up on deck. But that was more of a Mexican climate-based solution, and this isn't exactly the weather we want for that kind of activity.
And we're back. Even though you can do it by pushing the time to dry button like I did, but right now it's set to off, so it will only wash. I think we're ready to go, Kelly.
I never understood like why you have so many settings. I use like one.
For washing clothes?
Yeah.
That's because you're terrible at laundry.
I
I don't know either. I'm ready. I'm excited.
hit start.
Yeah,
Okay. Hold to start.
you did it.
The anticipation.
Bated breath.
It's moving.
I just want to see water. Sounds like water.
That's a pump for sure. It's spinning. Where's the water?
Who knows, man?
That's a little scary.
We just heard water being pumped somewhere.
I just thought I'd see water like cascading down here.
I don't think we have water in there yet.
So just like a pre-fluff.
I don't know, Kelly. I've never sat and watched one go. They just do their thing and I walk away and go eat cereal.
Captain Crunch.
Nah. What am I, 11? Hurts the roof of my mouth. I know, because I had it yesterday. There we go. That's the pump.
Yeah, that's a good sound. Oh, I see some water down at the base here.
That's all you got? That's all the water you wanted?
I guess that's all we need.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see water starting to fill up at the bottom.
It's a lot of start-stop anticipation.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, most people don't sit and stare at washers and dryers.
These are all the normal washer sounds, though.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I'll tell you what, Kelly. This is compelling. I can sit here all day.
We're 3 minutes in.
And it's broken. What is it trying to achieve right now? Is there an error or something going wrong? Oh, now it's spinning.
It sounds like there's water in the drum for sure.
There is. I can see it in the bottom, but it doesn't look. It's not like. Are the clothes wet?
There's a drip.
Yeah, it's saturated. It knows what it's doing. This is one smart machine. Are we required to sit here the whole time? For those of you wondering why there's a bucket behind Kelly, it's because we have a leak. It looks like it's working though. I don't see any suds, but I don't think we're there yet. I think we're at the pre-rinse.
It's definitely working, and the water's not, falling out all over the floor, so that was my big...
Well, that hasn't happened yet.
Roughly 1 hour and 12 minutes later.
It's come to an end.
It has stopped.
It smells fresh in here.
It does. There's no giant puddle on the floor. Victory.
Good work. How does it feel from a damp perspective?
It's very not damp.
Oh, yeah. That should dry out just fine.
Yeah, we're gonna hang it from the rigging once we're out of the rain.
Yeah.
Well, while we're here, we'll probably put it in a dryer in the other room. That's April fresh. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it didn't make a mess. I think we'll call this a big win, Kelly. We finally got this all set up.
Big win.
I assume there's no moisture in here. My hands are not feeling anything wet. Sweet!
Everybody we've had aboard is like, oh, wow.
You guys have a
fancy.
washer and dryer? And we're like, yeah, we do.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we spared no expense. We got the scratch and dent from Splendide.
Yeah, I'm glad it works. It's got a few little imperfections here, but so far,
We
so good.
did in fact. That wasn't a joke. We went to Splendide. They actually ship them into the country here in Portland. And every once in a while they get one that got banged up in shipping and they sell it for a discount. And we contacted them and they finally told us that they had the unit we want and someone had bumped it. So we got a pretty good deal on it. It is from the scratch and dent pile. But that doesn't stop it from washing. See?
Yep.
Wash like a champ.
Fresh.
Woohoo!
Victory!
Heading out to dry the laundry now. Stay tuned for our next trick. Today we're going to focus on our jackline system. But first, let's go over what jacklines are and why we need them.
Jacklines are traditionally a rope that goes from the front to the back of the boat, the aft to the fore of the boat, that allow you to hook onto them so when you're in a sea state, or really for any safety issue, you can take something from your harness, hook onto these jacklines, and be secured to the boat so you don't fall overboard.
Okay, at this point, you're probably thinking, they don't have jacklines? Weren't they supposed to be cruising down the coast like months ago? Well, yeah, this was one of many mission-critical projects that held us up. We can't exactly blame everything on the weather. Anyway, back to the jacklines.
Early ones were kind of run around the outside, and the problem that you'd have with them is if you did go overboard, you'd just slam into the side of the boat and get a bunch of water in your face and probably drown because you couldn't get yourself unhooked. So the conventional wisdom now is to bring them as inboard as possible to attempt to make it so you can't fall overboard, but still have free range of movement. These are what we inherited with the boat. We have two different styles of basically tethers. This one is a nice long, strong, probably polyester strapping with a big old hook on the end that is rated at 750 pounds, which I weigh a bit less than. And that you hook to your belt on this end and you keep hooking to the jack lines as you move around the boat on this end. This is a different style. This one is more of maybe a loop style. Either you would hook this onto yourself and then hook this onto the jack lines, or maybe you can somehow secure it in the middle and have two hooks so that if you wanted to go from one jack line to the other, you could hook onto the second one and unhook from the first one in that order. Those are the two styles, but it is better to have a contiguous line that you don't need to unhook and hook into repeatedly. That's what we endeavor to do here on the boat. We do have a problem that most boats don't have, and that's this pilot house. We don't get to just run a line down the middle, which would be my preference, and hook onto it, but we've come up with, I think, a pretty good idea. Material-wise, we're using not rope, but nylon strapping. Something similar to this, but it's only 1 inch thick. And the reason why we're going with 1 inch thick is because you still need this to slide. So if this were trying to hook onto this, you'd have a lot of opportunities for hang-ups because it's so wide. They recommend a burst strength of 4,000 pounds. And the reason why they expect that you need one that strong is not because you're going to exert 3,999 pounds on it, but you don't want the stretch. You don't want it to like go outboard and stretch towards the side of the boat. So the stronger it is, the less stretch you're gonna get. So for that purpose, we have purchased this stuff. This is 1 inch polyester, which is the strongest of the three options. You got polypropylene, nylon, and polyester. And polyester seems to be the strongest and the least stretchy. And we went with black because you want to contrast with the deck. Our decks are pretty much white, so this is good contrast.
So what's the game plan for setting this up?
We'll need to come in from here, out the port or starboard door, hook in and either go back to the helm back there, up to the main, or probably potentially even up to the jib up in the front to deal with issues, to set things up, spinnakers, all that fun stuff. And you always want to be hooked in when you're out in the middle of the ocean. You're supposed to treat the edge of your boat like it is a cliff, that if you fall off, you fall hundreds of thousands of feet to your death. Hundreds of thousands of feet. That's tall. That's high. You don't have time to think about things.
Yeah.
They say to treat that like a cliff because to worry about what you do when you fall overboard, which is a concern, you should think about it. You should have systems and plans in place for that. But that's a little bit like planning on what you do if you got hit by a bus after you already got hit by the bus. It's better to plan to not get hit by the bus in the first place. We can all agree on that, right?
Agreed.
So let's go plan on not getting hit by the bus, shall we?
Okay.
Come on out, Kell. We'll try to keep the wind noise to a minimum, but it has been super windy here in Portland the last 3 days, so I apologize if there's a little bit, and if there is a lot, we just won't use this footage at all, so I'm saying something completely unnecessary. This ring right here is currently not being used, so I wanted to use this as a jumping off point. So I tied a bowline in it. This is temporary. We did get some hardware that we will eventually sew into place for this purpose, but we want to bring it inboard so that when you hook on, you can move all the way up to the forward part of the boat without having to hook and rehook in at any point. Then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the boat, so you can get out port or starboard depending on what tack you're on.
Right away, we realized we needed to modify the tethers to be significantly shorter, so that if one of us did get launched from the boat, we wouldn't fall overboard and bash into the side of the hull. Avoiding that is the whole point of the system. Now for a quick demonstration.
So we'll come out of the boat, reach up, and hook ourselves on. Hopefully we'll be more practiced at that point. This will be shortened to right about here.
Yeah.
And it'll be attached to us right about the belt level. We'll pop up. We'll be able to come back.
Or we can go forward and have access to the mast and even further forward all the way down to the jib at the bow. And if we need to, we can conveniently switch over to the other side. Now we can make our way down this side. This hand simulating the tether would obviously be free, so we'll have one hand for oneself and one for the ship. Coming all the way back, we'll need to unhook and rehook into an appropriate spot to secure our position at the helm. Okay, let's get to work and make this plan a reality.
All right. So to do this, we need to sew a big strong loop in here, Kelly. This is like the last project. Do you have a game plan? Are you gonna do like a box with an X in it? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Just as much reinforcement as you can so that it doesn't become a point of failure.
Okay, how much of a loop do you need?
Not a ton. I'll show you the piece of hardware that we're gonna be putting on them.
These clips are rated 1,535 pounds each.
That'll go on this side.
Cool.
Like that. So we just need to do loop number 1, and then we'll go and measure and cut and pin it, and then come back in and do loop number 2.
On it.
Excellent. What's LCR?
Left, center, right.
What does it do though?
It moves the needle.
What do the numbers 1, 2, 5 do?
So this is your widest zigzag stitch, and then they get more narrow, and then 0, what we're at, is just a straight stitch.
Is it easier when someone looks over your shoulders like this?
It's not.
Okay, I'll leave you to it.
Thanks.
Kick some ass, babe. Damn. Seems pretty strong to me, man. Want to hand me one of those guys and we'll make sure it fits? All right, I'm gonna go put this on, pull it super tight, and then mark where the other end needs to be, if that works for you.
Okay, yep.
BRB.
We finished up the last stitching. Now let's take a look at the final result. This is an aerial view of our deck. And these red lines represent the jacklines that we can hook into and slide around on. Also notice there's a separate clip-in spot at the outside helm.
All right, the jacklines are all done. Let's give them a quick test. What do you say, Kelly?
Sounds good.
Got them all stitched. Kelly did an expert job.
Thanks.
I'll come out here before you go on a big voyage. You lock these guys in place. Come around, do one loop, and then back down, and we'll go this way.
Is it gonna make it?
Find out. If I could get this on here, it'd be perfect because I want it to be as tight as possible. Should be number 1. Yes!
Yeah!
Success.
Woo! That was a
Actually-
close one.
All right, let's test it. All right, so we come out, we get our hook ready, we reach up, hook in. Now we're in, we can come out. This would obviously be closed. Maybe silly to have that open in the middle of the ocean. Gotta get this deck cleared off. Go all the way back. Here. Unclip myself here. And we installed a reinforced hook down here. So you can clip yourself in right here. Pilot's boat. Stand up if you need to. There it is.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good setup.
I'm glad that it's like the perfect length because I wanted to have to struggle to hook it in, and we did, so it's nice and taut. Here's the ultimate test, Kelly. Here's the real test. I get knocked down. I'm like, whoa! As long as I hold on, I'm good. I call that a success. One more thing off the list, and then we just stow them in the locker until we need them and set them up before we leave.
Sounds good.
Good work. The stitching, man, top notch.
And there you have it. Another project done and one step closer on our mission to head south. Hey you, thanks for watching. If you like what you see and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below. And special thanks to our patron crew. We really appreciate your support.
Please hold while we consult the manual. You hear the howl of that wind, Kelly?
I do.
That's because the wind is howling. It doesn't actually howl, it doesn't have lungs, but what happens is it blows through an area. I don't even know if that's true. I'm just winging it here. So let's go plan on not getting hit by the bus, shall we?
Okay.
What can you do?
What can you do?